Good evening, folks, and welcome to another edition of Mansfield Town News and Views. As always, guys, get your thoughts and comments in and everything MTFC, whether you're watching or listening. Obviously, I usually do the podcast every Wednesday, but last night just basically didn't have the time. Essentially, something came up, but all is well. But anyway, let's get into it. There's a lot to discuss tonight. We're going to be discussing about the Oldham review and that 0-0 draw, which on another day could have easily been 3 points. We're also going to be talking about the Northampton game as well, and we're going to also let you know what's happening on the page as well. So as always, guys, get your comments and thoughts in the section below. I just want to start by talking about the Oldham Athletic game. Obviously, when you consider the circumstances, the amount of players that we've got out, about 9 or 10 players out, injured or suspended, we always knew it was going to be a tough game going into it, facing against one of the bottom sides in League Two. But again, it's a game. Well, we've got a clean sheet at, and there was things to take from that match. The ones that really stood out for me was Keaton Ward. As soon as he came off the bench, he really did liven the game up a lot. He imposed himself well. He looked good on the ball. It's like he's been playing for years. This how he came on, and exactly what you want from the younger players to be given a chance. And he was Keaton Ward. He did really well when he came on. Same with James Clark as well. I thought he had a really good game. He was solid. He was great going forward as well as defending, and it's just nice to see him get given a chance. James Clark. I mean, so many weeks I've been saying this. Give him a chance. As a young player with a lot of potential, and it's nice to see some young players being given a chance. And it shows you with players like Keaton Wards and your James Clarks that got a lot of potential to give, and they both did well, and hopefully they can both start again on Saturday against Northampton. But yeah, as always, guys, let us know your thoughts as well on what really impressed you against Oldham just gone. What players really stood out for you, and what really impressed you during that match. But yeah, as I say, it was there was some positive to take from the match. Yes, okay, we didn't win the match, but we didn't lose it either. So overall, I thought defensively we looked more solid. We certainly played better in the second half. I think it's fair to say the first half, we wasn't really at it, to be honest. Oldham created quite a few chances in the first half to really put us under pressure, but luckily we managed to ride our luck out, and in the second half we started off much better. And as I say, when Keaton Ward came on, he really did liven the match up, really. We looked good on the ball, made some good passes, and just looked good overall on the ball. So, hopefully he's another player that can keep his place in the side, But again, it's a good thing, as I said last week, when you've got so many players out, injured or suspended, it gives the younger players a chance in the team to show what they can do. So again, that's it gives them a chance to show what they can do. But no, overall, it was a good point considering the circumstances. Obviously, yes, we'd have liked to win. It would have been a massive boost to us, of course it would. But we the most important thing is we didn't lose, and we've kept that unbeaten run going into it. But yeah, like I say, guys, let us know your thoughts as well regarding the Oldham Athletic game, on what your take on the game was, and if you think it was a good point or you think it was 2 points dropped, really. Just get down some one of your comments. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Evening, everyone. Evening, Richard. Good evening. Good performance. Keaton Ward did well. Hope he's a regular first team starter. Let's hope we have a good performance at Northampton. Yeah, absolutely, Richard. I couldn't agree more with that. Again, he's another player that has got a bags full of potential, and it's he's not a player that you'd really see much on the first team team sheet with obviously players like Stephen Quinn and your George Lapsleys, but credit to him. He came on, made an impact. And he really did perform well, and he did rightfully so does deserve a chance to start the game. Evening, Chris. Thanks for subscribing early, mate, to the channel. Appreciate that. But yeah, like I say, it was very positive to see as well. Another young player be given a chance, and that's what you want to see, especially at lower league level. Young local lads being given a chance. He knows what it's like for the club. Is a homegrown lad, and it's your homegrown talent that is what you really need. I do feel at lower league level, and hopefully he's the first of many young players that gets given a chance in the first team to show what they're about. Because we've got a good crop of young players coming through. So hopefully he's the first of many to really show. Chris, is Nigel Clough under pressure? Depends who you ask, to be honest with you, Chris. I mean, there's some say that he is, others that he's not. Me personally, I do feel for him because we've got so many players injured and suspended, as I say. So it's tough for any manager to deal with that, really, when you've got so many first team players out injured and you're having to rely on your fringe players, and you're bringing younger players in as well to try and make an impact. So it's a bit mixed, but me personally, I still think it's still relatively early in the season and there's a lot of games to be played yet. So I still think he deserves the time to really turn things around, because it's still early days, and you don't want to read too much into anything at this stage of the season for any team, even if you're doing well. We've seen before. I mean, like your club as well, Carlisle. Like last season, you obviously had a really good start to the season under Chris Beech, and like I say, he was at the top for a while, and then all of a sudden you just kind of drop down a bit. So it just shows you it can happen at both sides of the table. But like I say, we've still got to give the guy time, because if any manager, I'm just talking any manager here, what can you do when a lot of your first team players are out injured? You're going to struggle, aren't you? But no, the guy deserves time, in my opinion, to turn things around. Let's have a look at more of your comments, guys. Just bear with me a second. Let's have a look. Here we go. Let's have a look. Right, here we go. Ashley, good evening, Ashley. I think with how the squad is, we can't judge him. If we had a fully fit squad, then maybe be a bit different. Well, yeah, exactly. That's the thing, Ashley. And again, I think it is kind of harsh to judge any manager when so many players are out injured. It's tough for any manager because you're having to play players out of position. You've got likes of Ollie Hawkins, who's another player injured now, but he's our top goal scorer at the minute. So we had to play him in centre half to obviously compensate for the players who have got injured in centre half. So you know what I mean. We're having to change things around, but yeah. So it is tough, but he does deserve time. He does deserve the chance to turn things around, like you say, when players do get back from their injuries and suspensions as well. So we've got to give him time. Coal Miner Man, good evening. Dare I say I take a draw at Northampton? It won't be a bad result at all, and I think a lot of people would take a draw. To be honest, it's a tough place to go. They're another side that's not long come down, so they'll be wanting to go straight back up as well. So that'll be a tough game, and obviously Danny Rosie we know quite well at Mansfield, and hopefully he won't come back to haunt us as former players tend to at Stags, but yeah, like I say, we've just got to stick with it, haven't we? And hopefully we can go there. And if we get a point from the game, then it'll be a great point, if we do. But yeah, let's just see what happens as we do. Chris, didn't realise you had players injured. No wonder you are where you are. Yeah, it's been insane, mate. We've just been so unlucky with injuries, and we've had suspensions, and it's one of them. It's just been all happened at once, in a short space of time. It's been a complete nightmare. It's been like week after week we've just had players injured. It's just been a nightmare, mate, to be honest. And I can't remember a time when we've had this many players out, if I'm being honest with you. It's been a while, but it is what it is. You've just got to get on with it. You've just got to dig deep and just work hard and just hope the results turn around for you. But yeah, it's a tough situation. Let's get knocked down some of your comments. Gary, evening, Gary. Thoughts on the under 23s? My thoughts on the under 23s. I think, again, like I was saying earlier briefly, I think we've got such a good group of talented young players who will hopefully get some first team action this season. I'm really looking forward to see more of them given a chance. Like I say, we mentioned Keaton Ward earlier on, who again did really well when he came off the bench. James Clark, another player that's not really been given much of a chance, and it was nice to see him as well to be given a shot. So yeah, I'm hoping the under 23s can carry on developing, and hopefully. Hopefully we can see more of them in the first team. It's always great to see young local lads in the side, and hopefully we can see more of that as well. But yeah, let's give these young lads a chance. We've got such a good academy of players, and hopefully we can see more of them in the future. But yeah, the future's looking good. The future's looking good for the club. That definitely. Chris, once you have players back, that's when you judge Nigel Clough, I feel. Oh, of course, Chris. Like I said earlier, for any manager at any level, when you've got so many players not available to you, you can only work with what you've got. So it's tough for any team. But again, Nigel Clough is obviously well experienced as a manager as well as a player. So, you wouldn't really want. You think we've got the best person in the role with his experience to manage it, really. But yeah, you can only do so much as a manager. But no, we've got to give him time. Simple as that. And there's still a lot of games to be played in the season, so there's going to be plenty of ups and downs. And hopefully, when the players do come back from their injuries and suspensions, we can see an improvement. But yeah, there's still a lot to play for yet, though. Hell of a lot to play for yet. But yeah, thanks again, guys, for tuning into the podcast tonight. Really do appreciate it. So, Chris, we were start of the year till we had COVID and postponements in the same month, which killed our momentum in the end. Yeah, and yourself, you had it at the other end of the table where you was at the top of the league for a while, and then, obviously, like you say, with COVID and similar to ourselves, suspensions and what have you, and it can affect your season, and it's happening to us at the other end. So it just shows you that's just football for you. It's just a crazy game, but obviously injuries are out of your hand, and what you can do is just manage with what you've got, and just try and get through it, and just try and get through it essentially. I predicted you lot to be in the playoff place at the start of the season. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people usually do, because obviously every season we do have big expectations at the club. We've always been touted as though we've been the big spenders in the past, and we've always we've got big ambitions at the club. There's no doubt about that. But you could say the same about 23 other League Two clubs as well. So it's a very competitive league, massively. But yeah, we obviously we're no different from that. We want to be up there. We've got great owners. We've got great things in place on and off the pitch. It's just always on the pitch. We've always struggled. We've just always struggled to get a team and get a set of results where we can just be challenging. But yeah, like I say, there is still a lot of games to be played, obviously, but we've just got to get through this tough period, and hopefully we can come out of it the better. So, like what others have said above in the comments, when these players do come back, the first team players, then hopefully we can be getting the results. Let's have a look. What's mad about League Two is you lot are above relegation zone and not that far behind playoff place. It's mad league. It shows it's so early in the season. Well, of course, that's it, Chris. You said it there. I mean, we're 7 points. I believe it's 7 points from the playoffs. But I don't really pay attention to the league table at this time of year. I'm not one of them. I don't really pay much attention to it until around Christmas time, personally, because, like I said earlier, it's so early to judge it. Look, I can understand the frustration amongst fans because, yeah, we should be doing better. In certain games, we've had chances where we should have taken them and we should have got more points from games, without a shadow of a doubt. But as I say, when you consider where we was last season, we didn't win for the first few months in the season. So we just need to just give it time. But yeah, I don't really pay much attention to the league table until Christmas time personally. But that's just me, depending who you ask, obviously. But yeah, we just need to carry on and just grind our way through it, and hopefully we can just use this to our advantage to make sure that we don't end up in this situation again. Which is what I'm hoping we will do, but we'll see how it goes. Let's have a look. Evening, Pete. The Warriors, you cannot see where we are going to get a win with the lack of firepower up front. Negative comment, I realise, but our squad is so threadbare at the moment. Clough has not got much to play with, so does he set up not to lose rather than go for a win? It's a very good point. I think it's a very valid point. It's like you say. I mean, do you look at Danny Johnson, for example? And again, I don't want to be critical of any player. I'm not picking on any player here, but I think even Danny Johnson will realise that he's had chances and that he should be putting more away, because he's obviously scored a lot of goals last season for Leyton Orient, but he hasn't scored since Walsall away, I believe. But then again, obviously with Ollie Hawkins, he's been quite good up front. He's our top goal scorer at the minute, but he's had to play in defence because of the injuries we've had. So, and now he's injured. So, but yeah, we are looking a bit light up front. Yeah, I don't think that's negative at all. I think you're just being right. To be honest with you, there, Pete, we've really got struggles up there. So yeah, like I say, I don't know where the win's going to come from. It'd be nice to at Saturday against Northampton. Obviously, it's going to be a tough game. They're going to be up for it. They've not long come down. But again, we've just got to stick by it, and hopefully the players can rise to the occasion. I mean, like I say, sooner or later we've got to win at some point. You know what I mean? So hopefully that can be sooner rather than later. But yeah, it's going to be a huge tough game. But how do we set up? That's going to be an interesting thing as well, because I've always seen it as this: if you can draw your away games and you win your home games, you're sound. But again, you've got to come back at home and do the business at home. But yeah, it's a tough situation to be in for him. But hopefully we can turn it around sooner rather than later. But we keep saying this most weeks, and here we are still without a win. But you've got to be optimistic, otherwise we won't be here, would we? We won't be here talking about Stags. You've got to be optimistic, obviously. You've got to be. But at the same time, you've got to you realise that it's going to be tough because of the players we've got out injured. So you've got to have that balance, really, between that and realism. Let's have a look more of your comments. Let's have a look. But yeah, good point there, Pete. Very good point. Cole Miner, with the situation now with injuries, don't see the harm mixing it up with a bit of younger players. It's exciting to see them develop. I know it's chucking them in the deep end, but what choice do we have? Well, no, it's a good point. And like I was saying earlier, with Keaton Ward and James Clark, I mean, there's players like Jason Law, who was great last season. When Jason Law got given a chance last season, it was great. I mean, he's been at the club for a few years, and we didn't really see much of him. Clough puts him in last season, and he really stood out. And I'm surprised we haven't seen much of Jason Law this season, to be honest. So hopefully he's another one that can get given a chance as well. So yeah, why not? I mean, it's a perfect opportunity. If they're not going to get given a chance now with the injuries and suspensions, then when they're going to get given a chance? You know what I mean? So no, you're right. I mean, it's one of them. It's okay, doing it in the academy and all, that's good, but they need first team football, you know what I mean? So definitely, I'd love to see more younger players being given a chance, and, I think that's probably what we need, if I'm honest, because if they're not going to get given a chance now, like I say, then when are you going to play them? Because other than that, what's the point of having an academy, essentially? So yeah, I welcome seeing younger players given a chance, 100%, but yeah, hopefully we can. Chris, yeah, let's have a look. Yeah, exactly. Just teams have started there, I feel. Yeah, 100%. Let's have a look. Let's have more of your comments. Evening, Craig. Hi, Mark. We'll be a different team when all the players are back. We just get behind the Stags. Well, that's it, Craig. That's all you can do. This is all we can do. We've just got to skin and bear it, as they say. And yeah, it's tough because it's one of them. We've gone so many games without a win, and look, you can understand the frustration. It is frustrating because we know we should be doing better, where we want to be, but at the minute it's just not falling for us. But having said that, though, I do think you've still got to make your own luck. You've still got to somehow, just come up with a win from somewhere. It doesn't matter how you play. If even if it's a scruffy 1-0 who cares? As long as you find a way to win, that's what matters. And but that's a difficult thing for us. But yeah, like you say, hopefully we can start winning games when we do get players back. I mean, one player that we will be having back this weekend, and he's going to be a massive boost, is Farren Rawson. He's going to be a much needed person in defence. Plus, we've got the lad from Stoke now. He's available to play. But my only issue with him, Will Forrester, is he hasn't played much first team football, so he still might be a week or two away. So, again, we are starting to get players back slowly, which is a big thing for us. But again, we've just got to find a way to not only win but get some kind of order really and get some kind of run going. But yeah, like I say, we just need to get through it. Chris, I feel sorry for our manager being sacked. Some players let him down. Our owners and board are the main problems at the club for not having ambition. Last time we were in League One was 2014. Too long. Yeah, it's kind of similar to a situation where we had it a couple of seasons ago. It is a surprise because obviously Chris Beach did quite a good job for you. He was at the top of the league for a while, and you did quite well under him, to be honest. But football is a results business, as we know, and you've only got to lose a few games now, and that's it. You're sacked. So it's a tough job. But obviously, if you, like you say, you've got problems with the owners and board members and stuff, then as well as players, and that can play a big part in it. But I think every club has that though. Especially when players don't want to play for managers and stuff. I mean, once the dressing room's against a manager, then he's pretty much sacked in it, really. So, but yeah, like I say, from our point of view under Nigel, this is obviously I've signed a lot of players this season, and as you know now, a lot of the players we have signed are either injured or suspended, so we're having to basically. Just rely on the fringe players and the younger players. So it is tough without your first team regulars, but this is football. You've still got to grin and bear it and just stick with it. You've got to just have the faith, haven't you? Really, and what have you. Craig, if we win Saturday, it will give us a massive boost going into Tuesday. Yeah, it does, and this is it. This is what a win can do for you. I know it's cliche and obvious, but it is. This is what we need. A win would be much needed, and if we could get it on Saturday against Northampton, that would do the world of confidence for us. But yeah, like I say, we just need to we just need to do that. We see, but yeah, it would be a massive boost if we could. It would be. Let's have a look. Let's have a look more of your comments. Craig, what formation would you play Saturday? Ooh, what would I say? I'm going to be bold here and say 4-4-2. A flat back four midfield and two up front. Now I know it's a formation that is old and it's a cliche formation, but why don't we go back to basics? Just go basic. Let's have two forwards. Let's just have a flat, just 4-4-2. Why not? Because even though a point wouldn't be a bad result, it would be good to go and get a win there. So I'd still go out for the attack. So I'd say 4-4-2 personally, Craig. That's my opinion. I don't know if anyone else has got any different formations, but I'd just go 4-4-2 if I'm being honest with you, because we need to get a win from somewhere. So there's no point being too negative by trying to defend but that's just my opinion. But I'd say 4-4-2 if I was to say my formation. Let's have a look. Chris, Northampton 1, Mansfield 1. My prediction, tough game to call. Yeah, it is. It's see, I'm so crap at predictions. You know, when people ask me this, they're like, "Bloody hell, Mark, you predicted something else wrong," because I'm shocking at predictions. So I don't really like to give my predictions. But look, a point wouldn't be a bad result. You know, it would be a great result considering how we've been for the past few weeks. We've gone so long without a win. You kind of forgotten what a win is, you know. But no, it wouldn't be a bad result at all. But again, it all depends on how the game plays out, essentially. But if we could nick a win there, wow, that would just be massive for us, like you say, Craig, and going into Tuesday as well. But like I say, we'll have to see how that pans out. But yeah, I don't think anyone would be opposed to taking a draw. But another good thing is as well, going into Saturday, the players are going to be backed by massive support. Considering we're fourth from bottom, we're fourth from bottom, and yet the fans are backing. The fans' support, as always, is fantastic. I mean, Northampton only today they've said they've issued couple of hundred more tickets because their support is that big. So we've got over 1,000 fans travelling down to Northampton, and that is a fantastic effort considering how poor results wise we've been, and we're still getting a big following like that. Just that in itself shows you how much we care as fans and how much we really want the team to really progress. And again, you don't get that from many teams where the fans will back you during difficult times. And I'm just hoping the players will give us a performance and a result that can really represent that as well. Because again, that's amazing backing. That is, it's amazing, especially when you're not doing well. That's a fantastic backing. That is, and everyone that's going down to Northampton on Saturday, we deserve a result and a performance that really makes us proud. It really we ought to. We need that. We do, and hopefully the players can do that. So yeah, credit to the support for that fantastic effort that is, and it's going to be such an amazing atmosphere if you're going down to Northampton. Can't wait for it. It's going to be a massive one. Let's have a look. More of your comments. Ashley, even Ashley, defo agree. Back to basics. Keep it simple. Absolutely. I mean, it's one of them. This is a thing. When you look back at the games where we've lost and made the mistakes, it's just been through our downfall, essentially, just by not doing basic things like, kick the ball out, if in doubt, kick it out, just take more shots off, just basic stuff, I know it's easy for us to sit here and say that, but it is just basic football, so don't overcomplicate things, just be solid as what you possibly can, and just try and be organised as what you can be as well. Let's have a look. Chris, I never predict my team to lose. I always predict my team to get win or draw, just where I am. I'm the same, to be honest with you, Chris. I mean, there's been the odd occasion where I will, will sometimes, but no, best you can hope for is a draw, in some circumstances. But yeah, I'm terrible at predictions, to be honest with you, Chris. I really am, and I don't like to because it always goes the opposite way. But yeah, I get you on that one. Colmani man, big following at Northampton, like always, so that should give players a boost. Hope they back come all 90 minutes. Yeah, that's it. I mean, again, the support at Mansfield away has always been amazing. Despite the fact where we are and how the form's been, the support's always been there. That's what I mean. The support's never gone. It's always been there for the players. No matter what form we're going through, it's always been top form of the supporters, and hopefully the players can get confidence knowing that we're right behind them and that we can and that we're supporting them through this tough time that we're going through. And again, let's hope they can rise to that occasion. But yeah, absolutely, that's what the players need. Just that big support. Chris, are you a season ticket holder at Mansfield? I'm a season ticket holder at Carlisle. Have been since 2010. Yeah, of course. Yeah, season ticket holder, mate. Yeah, go to quite a few of the away games as much as what I can. Obviously, when I'm around work and what have you. But yeah, yes, very much so. Yeah, 100%, mate. And but yeah, that's what we need. We just need to just need to stick by it. But another big thing as well is George Morris. Obviously, he was down 14 minutes injured. He had a collision with James Clarke mid-air. Thankfully, though, he's going to be. It's not as serious as what we thought it would be. So thankfully, George Morris is on the mend, so to speak, and because it did look really serious when he did collide with James Clarke. Anybody that wasn't at the game, essentially what happened was James Clarke and George Morris went for the same ball, and James Clarke's arm caught him in the neck, I believe, and he was down for quite some time. George Morris was, but thankfully George Morris is on the mend now, and he's hopefully he'll be featuring soon. But yeah, like I say, it's good to see that he's on the mend. So yeah, like I say, guys, it's a tough one, to be honest with you, against Northampton this weekend. I mean, obviously we've got the return of Danny Rose as well. He's done quite decent for them. He's we know what he's all about, and he's someone we've got to keep an eye on. But again, I don't think it matters who you face. You've just got to make sure that we've just got to play to our strengths and not worry about what other teams are doing, whether we are playing home or away. We've just got to just get behind the lads as always, and hopefully the players can just turn up and just give us a performance and a result that we can really be proud of. Essentially, that's what I always say. Regardless of how things have been going. But yeah, like I say, the support, that's going to be phenomenal. It should be a really good atmosphere in the away end. I'm really looking forward to it as well. And again, let's just hope the players can just turn up, essentially. And if we can play the last 20 minutes against Oldham in the second half against Northampton, then we've got a chance. But it's a case if we can do that, because again, what we do know is we've got to put Keaton Ward starting 100%. He's got to start, and we've got to keep James Clarke in the side definitely, and what have you. And obviously Farron Rawson, you've got to put him back in centre half as well. So we've got to we've just got to go at it. We've just got to attack it. Obviously we can't go too too gung ho, but again, we've got to still show at the same time that we want to go for a win rather than just sit back. Chris, we're at home at Tranmere this weekend, so I'm expecting Tranmere to win as they are in better form, but with beats now gone, won't be shocked if our players turn up. All of a sudden it happens in football. Yeah, we've had that the same at Mansfield, in the past where we've had players not playing for certain managers, and I think every team's gone through that, to be honest with you, Chris. But yeah, you probably will see a difference in performances. But this is the thing with League Two, is doesn't matter how how the results are going, because anyone can beat anyone in this league. I mean, it's such an unpredictable league. It's hard to predict anybody, to be honest. I mean, as we know, it's difficult to predict anything in football, but more so in League Two, because it's anything could happen essentially. But yeah, like I say, from our point of view, we've just got to just not make any mistakes and just be more ruthless in front of goal. But like what Peter said earlier on, when you look at the firepower up front, without Hawkins up there, we're left with Johnson. Now, don't get me wrong, Johnson has scored a lot of goals last season for Leyton Orient, and hopefully he can still do that here, because it is still 11, 12 games into the season. So there's still plenty of games for him to do that. But all I'm saying is I'm hoping he can really step up soon, Danny Johnson, because again, where's the goals going to come from? If we're going to win games, we need our strikers to step up, essentially. And hopefully Danny Johnson can do that soon. He's got goals in him. We've seen that. We know he's a goal scorer. We just need him to really do it more often, essentially. And if we can do that, then we should be all right. But again, with so many players out injured, we're having to really, really rough it out, essentially. But yeah, I mean, like I say, guys, for me personally, with the amount of players that we've got out, why not put a couple of the under 23s in? We've talked about earlier on if they're good enough. If they're good enough, they're old enough. So put them in. Because if they're not going to get played in now, when you're going to put them in? essentially. But Cole Manaman, I like to see Cloughie a bit more animated on sidelines, a bit more encouragement. Seems to just shake his head a lot. Yeah, he does. He's not the kind of manager kind of like how his dad was at Forest. He's not shouting and bawling all the time. Now, don't get me wrong, he does shout at times. I've noticed it because where I sit behind the home dugout, so I've got a really good view of stuff there, and he does it a few times, but not enough. I see what you mean, though. I mean, you look at what was his name? Mark Cooper, a couple of weeks ago when we played Barrow, and he was constantly shouting at the players. And like you say, Nigel's just stood there with his arm crossed or sat down, just observing it. But yeah, it's one of them. It'd be nice to see him do that more often. Because I like managers that do that. I like managers that spur the players on and they'll really get into them. Say, come on now, let's get into them essentially. But yeah, we need something. I don't know. We just need that break where we just need that one chance and just to take it away. And hopefully, if we can, wherever we can get that win from, whether it's this weekend or Tuesday, whenever, it just needs to come sooner rather than later, so we can go on a good winning run. But I don't know. Every week we say this on the podcast. We say we're gonna, go into the game with confidence, and then for whatever reason we just don't get the 3 points. But yeah, another thing as well, we need to show more quality as well. We need to really be more clinical and not really worried too much about anything else. I mean, it's like the other thing. Somebody said to me last week, "Oh, the referees are poor in this league." They are. I mean, there's no doubt the officials are poor at this level, but even then, you've still got to really make your own chances and not worry about decisions. You've just got to be more ruthless and make your own luck rather than just rely on the referees to give you something. In my opinion. Well, yeah. Hopefully, I just hope the players can learn from it essentially and just all band together and say, look, now, come on, lads, we haven't won the game in so long. This is a chance for us now to really stake a claim in the first team, because a lot of these players that are playing, the likes of Harry Charlesley, James Clark, your Keaton Wards, the players like that, they're not always first team players, and that's no disrespect to any of them, but they're not always going to be first team players. When you've got players like Stephen Quinn back in the side, you've got your Lapstairs, you've got Ollie Clark's. It's like they're not first team regulars, but this is a chance for them to really step up and stake a claim for the stake a claim for in the first team. So again, that's what it does. It presents other players a chance, and hopefully they can step up as well and show why they should be playing week in and week out. But no, like I say, it did impress me in the second half against Oldham. We really did show the potential how because the thing is, we know we can play well. We know we're a good football inside. We do know that. We've seen that in previous weeks. But it's just glimpses. But there is something there. It's just we just need to show that quality in front of goal and just be more ruthlessness, and not blame on officials or anything like that. We know how poor they are, but they're poor for every side in League Two, you know what I mean? But again, we just need to focus on ourselves, if anything, and if we can just show the quality of what we've got, because we know we've got the quality, we know we have got it, it's just getting it out of the players more, and that's a frustrating thing about football, really, Referees are often in English top four leagues. They are clearly human, clearly human worms born with no eyes. There's something, Chris. There's something. But I never blame it on the referees. No, I don't. I mean, look, it's one of them. Don't get me wrong. Yes, we all know decisions can cost you games, and they can. There's no disputing that. But all I'm saying is, it's like if you've still got plenty of time to make an impact in the game, you should still be able to create a chance or just do something that can make an impact, So I'm never one for blaming referees, personally, when it comes down to results. But again, it depends who you speak to, really, because some will say different. Let's have a look. Cole Manaman, hopefully the second half of season, most of the squad are back and we can do a Bolton, we can hope. Well, yeah, I mean, I've said this a few times as well in the past on the podcast is, and people say you always bring up Bolton, Mark, and I'm like, yeah, but because it is, sometimes teams can do that. They can have a poor start, but the second half of the season they can really turn it on. Now, I'm not saying we're going to do that. I'm not going to jinx anything here, but it can be done, and you've seen it with teams. I mean, look at Bolton. Everybody was writing them off, saying, "Oh, um, they're not going to do anything. They're near the bottom of the league." And I mean, some people was even talking about them being relegated. That's how daft it was. There was even saying some people was even saying Bolton at the time they weren't even going to get in the playoffs. And look at them; they just stormed it. You know what I mean? They just stormed it. And hopefully we can do something similar. No pressure, lads, if you're watching this, lads. No pressure. But yeah, it would be nice to see that when the players are back from injuries and suspensions, and what a turnaround that would be. But that's all you can do as a fan. That's all you can do. I mean, at the end of the day, all football fans from every team is optimistic, and you've got to be. Because if you're not optimistic about things, then what are you doing here? What are you supporting your club for? You know what I mean? You've got to be optimistic and think, well, come on, your luck's got to change at some point, hasn't it? You know what I mean? It's got to drop at some point. We're going to win one match, and hopefully from then on, you're going to go on a winning run. It's got to at some point, hasn't it? You can't keep losing all the time. Something's got to change somewhere along the line. I don't know when that's going to be from our point of view, but you'd like to think it's sooner rather than later. But I don't know. It's one of them. You just hope it's going to be sooner rather than later, though. At the same time, so. But yeah, hopefully we can do coal mining, man. Because bloody hell, if it's been nice to experience a win, it would. It'd be nice to experience a win. But yeah, look. I mean, we're in mid-October at the minute. So again, I don't read too much into, where we are on the league table. Yes, it's poor. There's no disputing that it's very poor where we are in the league. 100% it is, and no team wants to be at the bottom. I mean, you look at Scunthorpe, for example, and Oldham, like ourselves. I mean, no one wants to be down there, obviously. But from our point of view, it's just been the case of we've just been unlucky with injuries, and we have. It's just pure unluckiness. I mean, suspensions, yeah. Players. The only thing I would say is I think we're not very disciplined because I'm sorry, but having 4 players, the one criticism I will say of the players, all right, is the suspensions. Now, 4 players we've had so far in this season with red cards. Now that is a lack of discipline. I mean, it's one of them. To say we're only in October and we've got 4 players already red carded, it's a lack of discipline. You know what I mean? There's no doubt about that. I do think that. I do feel as though that's a lack of discipline. Now that you can control because, sometimes players can control, just not being, as ruthless or, stupid at times. So, but injuries, injuries are out of your hands. There's nothing you can do about injuries. Obviously, it can happen to any player at any time, whether that be in training or on the pitch. Injuries are part and parcel of football. But yeah, 4 red cards at this stage of the season is, in my opinion, a lack of discipline. I don't know your thoughts on that, guys, but it is. It's a lack of discipline to have that, and the players should know better, in my opinion. But that's the only criticism I would say. But injuries, it's just unfortunate. Chris, yeah, exactly. Got to be optimistic in some part. I was optimistic at the start of the season we would finish in the playoff places. Well, the thing is, Chris, though, I mean, depending on who you bring in next as your manager, you still could. I mean, this is the thing in football. Okay, I know, like you say, you're out without a manager now, but depending on who comes in next, you could have that new manager bounce and a couple of wins and you're up there. That's just how football is. But again, it depends on who comes in, of course. I mean, we had that with Nigel Clough. When Nigel came in, last season, we had quite a good start. I mean, last season, believe it or not, we went on a 5-game winning run under Clough, and we was unstoppable. And then we had a lot of postponements last season because the weather in Mansfield was really bad. It was snowing, and the conditions were really bad in Mansfield, and that really did derail our season because when we came back to it. Against Bolton, ironically, we were just very poor. It was ages since we got a win, and it was only the last 3 or 4 games of the season where we actually looked quite good, to be honest, and that really did affect our confidence. Or the postponements last season due to the weather, but that's just football. When the weather's crap, What can you do? I mean, if the pitch isn't playable. it's not much you can do. It's just Mother Nature, isn't it? There's not much you can really do about that, sadly. But yeah, but who knows? There's still time. There's still plenty of time, and I keep saying this in my head, and I keep saying it. We've got to improve at some point. We've got to. When the players come back, when Nigel's had a chance to get all the players fully fit, or majority of them fully fit, then let's judge him on the results. Then that's what I'd say to Teddy fans. But yeah, that's what I'd say to that. Exactly, I remember teams have gone up with 10 draws, 12 defeats. Well, exactly, that's it, Chris. That's it. And obviously, no team has to be at the bottom at any stage of the season. But again, there's so many games to turn it around. So, like I say, I'll just wait until Christmas time to see where you are in the league, and then just go from there. So I don't really pay much attention to it, if I'm being honest at this moment in time. Tell me about it. It's always snowing in Carlisle. Well, yeah, it does at that part of the country though. But no, we did have really bad snow. We did last year. It was very bad, very very bad. But it's one of them. There's not much you can do about anything like that. It's Mother Nature, isn't it? You know what I mean? It's just the weather for you. But yeah, just a couple of things before I go off, guys. Hoping to get some more ex-players on here as well. I'm in talks with a couple as well, to try and get on here as well. And again, I'll keep you posted on that as well, on who they will be when I get a response back. But yeah, it's looking promising that. But overall, I mean, as I say, going into this weekend's game, again, I don't think it matters so much who we play. I just think it's another game in which obviously we're going into with a lot of things against us in terms of players out. But like I say, if we can just play how we did in the second half against Oldham, and we can do that on Saturday, then hopefully we'll come out with a game or something. Hopefully we can do that. But I think without a shadow of a doubt, I think we're all in agreement. Start Keaton Ward, keep James Clark in the side. Definitely got to as well. Obviously, we've got Farron Rawson back from his suspension, so put Farron back there as well. So again, we've got some players coming back as well from our suspension soon as well. We'll be having, I believe it's next game, so on Tuesday, I believe, we've got Stephen Quinn back from his suspension, if I'm not mistaken. Quote me if I'm wrong, guys, in the chat if I have got that mistaken, but we've got him coming back, we've got Terry Sinclair, so we have got the players coming back and the games we've got coming up, so hopefully when them players come back, they can have a massive impact as well for us as well. But yeah, like I say, we've just got to stick with it. We've just got to stick with it. That's all we can do. Yeah, it's frustrating, but end of the day, being a Mansfield fan, it's always been frustrating. Excuse me. It's always been frustrating being a Mansfield fan, and I don't think that'll ever change. Excuse me, but yeah, of course we've got to stick with it. You've got to be optimistic, otherwise, why you win it? Why would you support any team? You've got to stick with it, win, lose or draw. Yes, we're going through a really rough patch. We haven't won in a while, but you look at the support we've got going down to Northampton, and it just makes you proud to be a Stag, doesn't it? That massive backing we've got. I mean, how many teams would you think of in this predicament, in the situation that we're in regarding the results and the position that we're in, will take that many to an away match? So that just shows you the testament to the fans as well. If we're right behind the team, and hopefully the players can recognise that and then transfer it onto the pitch, and again, just do us proud. That's all we want. That's all any fan asks for at any club, is just have a set of players. It's just to give it their all and play with a bit of pride and passion, and so we can just go on from strength to strength, really. That's all we can do. Just keep the faith. Chris, you got brilliant fans home or away. Appreciate that, Chris. Appreciate that very much. And yeah, like I say, we'll have to get you on at some point as well to talk about Carlisle when we play you guys as well, which I'm not sure when that will be when we've got you guys, but I can't imagine it'll be long before we do meet. But yeah, we'll have to. But yeah, same to you guys. But yeah, like I say, there's plenty of games to go, and yeah, just from our point of view, let's just hope we can go there this Saturday and, like I say, have a good performance, and just give us something to go home for and be proud of. That's all I'd say to the players. Come on, man. As always, keep the faith. Um, yeah, appreciate that call, man. And thanks everyone again for tuning in tonight to the podcast. And apologies I didn't go on last night. Just a hectic night, to be honest with you. Just so much going off. Didn't have time to do anything, if I'm being honest. But yeah, like I say, guys, thanks again for commenting and watching this wherever you've been on Facebook, YouTube, or listening to this wherever. Thanks again, and let's just hope the next time we talk, we'll be talking about a point or maybe even 3 points, depending, next time we're on. And yeah, thanks again, appreciate that. Thanks for the support as always. Take care, all the best. Up the Stags. Thank you.